It should be evident to anyone that pays attention to facts over propaganda that we have a serious problem today within every level of our country's leadership, from local leadership up to the highest office in our country. If you are someone who isn't given to just mindlessly believing everything you're told without properly vetting the facts, then like me, you're someone who sees the corruption that exists within all branches and levels of leadership. Now, let me be clear in that I am not stating that all leadership is corrupt. What I am saying is that the evidence we see daily indicates clearly that much of our governing system is corrupt. From our judicial to our legislative and even to the executive branches at all levels of our leadership, it seems pretty clear that we are existing within a system wherein corruption is the greater practice. Now, why is that? And how is it that more and more corruption continues to dominate all levels of our country's leadership? Well, I think that the answer is very obvious in that it is because many people in power are corruptible. Because whenever people are given much power, fame, and wealth, more often than not, they become self serving and egocentric. The more people put leaders on a pedestal, the more these leaders tend to believe that they know better than everyone else and that they are beyond questioning concerning their own conduct. In that, it takes either the people to keep them in check or for them to maintain a very high sense of personal integrity through which they are then able to keep themselves humble and on track with being non corrupted. The latter being the more difficult option, as it is a rare person who has the ability to maintain such a level of integrity while possessing power. Hence, the old saying that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely is applicable. As a whole, it is this neglect of the importance of integrity within leadership that is what empowers our current system to be so corrupted. You see, if the people in our society will not have the personal integrity to vet the facts of any situation so to support what is right and true, then those who know that they won't be held accountable for wrongdoing will most probably fall to being corrupt because they will personally benefit from it. Allow me to give you the example of an incident that recently occurred in New York with Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley, who was being stopped for a traffic violation.
Sorry, I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
Okay.
So you can call Dennis.
Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
Yes, it is. You can call Dennis Kohlmeyer right now.
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all. Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone while you're driving either.
Yes, I am with the hands-free. Absolutely.
Okay. Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
To leave me alone. It's
Officer Christopher. Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a legal traffic stop. Do you have your ID?
No, it's in my purse. Here.
You have your purse right there.
No, this is my lunch. Would you talk to Dennis? This is ridiculous. No way.
Hello, sir. Good. Ma'am, can you please stay at the back? This is a legal traffic stop. Can you please stay over here?
No. Hey, baby, could you get out of here?
Sir, I stopped her for going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road. And she failed to stop. She drove all the way back home and parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any of my commands. Ma'am, do not go inside.
Oh my God.
Yep. All right. Ma'am, come outside. You can't just go inside. This is a traffic stop. Here's your phone back.
I understand the law better than you.
953. Can you have a supervisor come to the scene?
No. Get out of my fucking house.
I don't know why you're acting like this towards me.
Because
Can you please go to the back of the vehicle?
I'm not going to. I'm home. Okay, 55.
I don't care if you got home. You were supposed to stop at Phillips Road when I pulled you over. When my lights were initiated.
I didn't know you were stopping me. There was lots of other people on the road.
I was right behind you.
Yeah? There were other people on the road, too.
Okay, I was directly behind you.
I'm not dealing with you right now.
Can you please step over here?
I'm not going to.
What is the reason you're so against what I'm doing? I'm doing my job. You say you're a DA?
I am the DA.
Okay.
Okay, let me get you my badge. I am the DA in Monroe County.
I just don't understand the hostility towards me. I'm doing my job.
You're being an asshole.
How am I being an asshole?
I am the DA in Monroe County.
I understand that, but that doesn't give you a right
And
to go 55 and a 35. And you even admitted to me that you went 50. I understand that, man. I understand that.
You know what? If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it, okay? Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just don't understand the hostility. I understand you're coming home from work.
And half the time I was on the phone with Dennis telling him, why are you pulling me over?
You're not even supposed to be on the phone to begin with. You should know that.
On hands-free? Absolutely.
Okay.
You should know the law.
Okay. If it is hands-free, that's great. But at the end of the day, you're going 55 and a 35. That's 20 miles over the speed limit.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. You know what I've been dealing with all day? 3 murders in the city. And do you think I really care if I was going 20 miles over the speed limit?
I'm just doing my job. If you pulled over when you saw my lights, which obviously you did.
I thought you were going somewhere else because I thought no one would ever pull a black SUV if you ran my plates.
I didn't run your plate. I just called your plate out. And then I'm following you because you're not stopping. So I had to take the air from dispatch.
Just please.
953. You can have the air back, by the way. Just come outside over here.
No, I'm not going outside.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you just to leave.
Well, I'm having a supervisor come because that's what my chief told me to do. Do you have your driver's license?
I just showed you my driver's license.
You show me your badge.
Thanks, Jennifer. When EMS, the 14-year-old having a seizure, 200 East River Road, apartment 200 on the 3rd
Because
floor.
I was going 55 uphill. And I was
She's
just
part of it. She's a DA.
Yep, I know. And I was just trying to pull into my driveway. I was on the phone with Dennis Colemeyer saying, would you please tell the person who's following me that I'm almost home?
Ma'am, I understand you were going home, but I started my lights back at Phillips Road.
I'm on Phillips Road. Yes,
Yes.
you did, and there are other cars.
I was right behind you, directly behind you. At the end, listen. At the end of the day,
go ahead if you want to write me a traffic ticket. That's fine.
Okay. At the end of the day, I was stopping you for speed. If you just stopped.
I've had a really bad day. I've been dealing with.
And I get it. We have bad days also, man.
I'm sorry.
We have bad days also. I'm gonna just add it to the job real quick. You can just go and actually add it. You don't have to use the air. At the end of the day, I was just making a traffic stop, doing my job, what I was supposed to do.
Well, fine. Thank you.
Okay? So now, supervisor's on his way, and then we'll go from there.
Supervisor's coming out.
Huh?
Good.
Sergeant Johnson. I understand you had it. Like, I get it. We all have bad days at work.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the house. Seriously. This is ridiculous.
This is a traffic stop. And you, out of everyone, should know that if there's a legal traffic stop, which I have the right to detain you until this is done.
Then just write me the fucking ticket. I really don't care.
Okay. Well, then just hang out at the back of the car.
Because I'm the one that's going to prosecute myself. You know what I'll do with the ticket?
So clearly, you can see in the video the blatant disregard of the law by this district attorney. During this encounter, DA Dorley refused to pull over and drove home when the officer was behind her, flashing his lights and sounding his siren. She purposely lied and told him that even though he was directly behind her, she didn't know that he was specifically attempting to pull her over. She went on to say that as he was attempting to pull her over, she was on the phone with the police department telling them to have the officer back off. When confronted with her driving 55 in a 35-mile-per-hour zone, she stated with conviction that she didn't care that she was driving that fast. She then refused every lawful command he gave her. She argued with him nonstop and even called the police chief to tell him to have the officer go away. Finally, she arrogantly told him to give her the ticket as she is the DA and will prosecute herself, and he can figure out what she'll do with the ticket. Again, this is the district attorney who is fully aware of the law and who prosecutes regular citizens for doing the exact same things as she just did. Now, of course, after the video went viral, to protect herself, she posted an apology video which had all of the right things in it, but the one thing upon which I'm attempting to make my point about.
Last Monday, I failed you and the standards that I hold myself to, and for that, I am so sorry. What I did was wrong, no excuses. I take full responsibility for my actions. I fell short of the values I've held for my entire 33-year career. I didn't treat this officer with the respect that he deserved. All police officers deserve respect. I am truly and sincerely sorry. I had just come from work. I was dealing with 3 homicides that occurred over the weekend. I watched a video where an innocent cab driver was executed, and I was still reeling from a frightening medical concern that my husband received that afternoon. But we all have bad days and stress, and it was wrong for me to take it out on an officer who was simply doing his job. While I previously apologized to him, I will say it again. I'm sorry. Police already have a tough job, and that day I made this officer's job harder. To the community, I owe you full transparency. Here's what I'm doing to hold myself accountable. First, I already pled guilty to the speeding ticket, and I will willingly pay the fine. Next, I'm referring the entire matter to a district attorney from another county for review and will fully cooperate with that investigation. I'm going to self-report this incident to the grievance committee, and I will cooperate with their investigation. Finally, if one of my assistant district attorneys had acted this way, I would have disciplined them. So I'm disciplining myself. I will take ethics training to remind myself that professionalism matters. I've been humbled by my own stupidity, and I'm fully to blame. I will make this right. I ask for your forgiveness.
Now, on the surface, all of this sounds great, and I am sure that many would probably think that she is being humble, honest, and even genuine in her apology. Perhaps she is, but let's look at what true integrity would dictate concerning this situation. First of all, this apology video comes out after the original video goes viral and she gets exposed for her corrupt conduct and blatant disregard for the law that she is paid to enforce upon regular citizens. This, of course, makes the sincerity of the apology suspect. Secondly, she states that if her assistant DA had done this, she would have disciplined him or her. So she is disciplining herself by making herself take a class on ethics. But what type of discipline is that? In most cases we see, a district attorney would have fired said assistant, not make them take an ethics class. Next, she states that she has requested an outside district attorney to investigate this situation and that she would abide with the outcome of their investigation. Well, again, all of that sounds good, but let's vet the facts of this situation as she, the district attorney, understands that regardless of how bad a day someone is having, we are all obligated to not only obey the law, but submit to our accountability to the law whenever we break it. These are the facts in her case. 1. She was knowingly driving 55 in a 35 mile per hour zone. 2. When being signaled to pull over by a police car, instead of stopping, she called the police to tell the officer to back off and continued driving until she drove home. 3. When confronted with numerous lawful commands by the officer, she willfully refused to obey. 4. She degraded the officer by calling him an a-hole and on numerous occasions raised her voice to him as she attempted to use her position as district attorney to intimidate the officer to get out of the traffic stop. 5. While the officer is attempting to conduct a legal traffic stop, she calls the police chief to have him get the officer to leave her alone, in yet another attempt to use her position as DA to get away with all the crimes she has just knowingly committed. 6. As the officer informs her that she was driving 55 in a 35 zone, she arrogantly tells him that she doesn't care that she was driving 20 miles over the speed limit. 7. Twice, she arrogantly tells him to give her the ticket as she is the DA and will be the one who prosecutes herself, and that he then knows what will happen to the ticket because of that. On the second time she says that, she can be heard laughing about prosecuting herself as if she was mocking the officer's authority. Clearly, she is telling the officer that her purposed intention would be to use her power to make the ticket go away so she can get away with her crimes. In all of this, the reality is that regardless of what she may have been going through, she knowingly attempted to use her position and power to break the law and get away with it. The striking reality of this situation is that I wouldn't have had a problem with the district attorney getting a speeding ticket. After all, we're all human and sometimes we get distracted. However, in this situation, instead of simply pulling over and receiving her ticket, she continued to knowingly break even more laws. Once again, she refused to stop when the officer was attempting to pull her over. During his interaction with her, at least 3 or 4 times, she refused to comply with the lawful commands of the officer for her to remain at the rear of her vehicle. Most concerning was her attempt to use her position to intimidate the officer as a means to not be held accountable, and then calling the police chief to get him to tell the officer to go away. In the realization of this, if she was someone who could be trusted with upholding the law as a district attorney, then regardless of how bad a day she was having, she would have acknowledged her actions and not have attempted to get out of the accountability for her own breaking of the law. Nor would she have so purposely and knowingly made it clear that she didn't care about how she broke the law, and then of how she would use her power to get out of any accountability for her crimes. And that she successfully did in a sense, because if it was a normal citizen in this circumstance who refused to stop or who had disobeyed so many commands, they would have been arrested immediately. She was not. She was given a lot more leeway because of how she used her position and was given special treatment that a normal citizen would not have been given. The most revealing fact that I believe proves my point is that no matter how many times the officer clearly states the law, her response was that she doesn't care. At no time during this incident does she come to her senses and acknowledge the truth. All she does is continually attempt to justify her criminal actions by using her position of being the district attorney. Her conduct during this stop clearly demonstrated that she not only could be corrupted in her position, but that in her position, she does act corruptly. If she was a person with the type of integrity that a district attorney should possess so that people could expect fairness from her, then firstly, she would never have attempted any of the abuse of power that she used. Secondly, being aware that she knowingly committed crimes and then purposely attempted to use her position and power to get away with it, she would have offered the acknowledgement and apology that she did, accompanied with her resignation on the grounds that her own integrity would have revealed to her that she could not be trusted to act outside of the realm of corruption. This is why so much of our leadership today is corrupt, because the level of integrity that our leaders should possess for the benefit of those whom they serve is simply non-existent in many cases. In her apology video, she states that she offers no excuse for her conduct, but then she goes on to list all of the excuses. Whenever a local or national leader is revealed for their corrupt conduct, they always make sure to list the reasons why they acted corruptly in their attempt to justify their actions and to hopefully convince others that despite being exposed, they really aren't corrupt. You can still trust them. Anyone who holds a position of leadership in this country should be held accountable by the people they serve to maintain the highest level of true integrity in their positions. Unfortunately, the reality is that corruption continues to grow within our local and national leadership because they're not held to that standard. So feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments and be sure to punch that like button if you agree, especially as having likes helps me to grow the channel. Also, thank you if you already have, but if you haven't, would you hit that subscribe button as that would help me a great deal in growing the channel. And I can't tell you just how much I would appreciate your support. So, hey, as always, I'd just like to say God bless you, and thanks for taking the time to listen. Until next time.